Hello and welcome back to Will's World, where we don't just have one obsession, we have 100. Today's obsession is going to be talking about Power Rangers, which is kind of my OG obsession even as a kid. And then when I started this channel, that was what I started off with. And so yeah, I had a little bit of a thought. I'm sure there's other videos on YouTube that would portray this much better. But I thought I'd just talk about it because I thought it was quite interesting, which is forming your own kind of Power Rangers supergroup. And obviously there's so many different Rangers, so many different seasons to choose from. You could really, if you really had time to think about it and you really loved the entire 20, 30 year run or whatever it was, you could really plan out, your kind of intricate details about which teams would work together, which characters would work together, the personalities and things like that. But for me, my kind of run as a kid was from Mighty Morphin to Turbo, the first half of Turbo. So when it first came out, I was really, really young. So I missed kind of most of season 1.5 of it as it came out. But there was lots of reruns of Mighty Morphin, and that's how I caught up on the storylines. And, I was kind of behind, but because it was replayed a lot, I kind of knew and watched all the Green Medieval stuff and stuff like that. So I kind of knew all about it, but I guess when I started to get into it with the movie and then kind of the rest of season 2, where they obviously had the changeover of the Rangers, the 3 Rangers. And then I kind of dipped in and out of Zeo. I loved it. I loved like Tommy being the Red Ranger and stuff like that. It didn't bother me. But then kind of dropped off a little bit and then went to Turbo, especially with the movie being out. That was something that I was keen to watch, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't like the whole Justin thing. I have to say, it still kind of hurts me that even at the time, but it was just born of jealousy because this kid was the one that got to be a Power Ranger. I'm not sure, but there's my son disagreeing. I think he likes Justin. And that's kind of where I stopped then. I didn't see the crossover between, the Turbo Rangers all disappearing and getting new actors. So that was kind of where my ceiling was for Power Rangers, as I think I quickly moved on to like Pokemon by then. And then, having said that then, so my team is going to be only from Rangers from Mighty Morphin to Turbo, because I can't make a fair judgment on other Rangers when I don't really know a whole lot about them. And there's other seasons that I do know a little bit from, but ultimately it wouldn't be fair for me to pick or not pick these people, because I just don't have any kind of knowledge of them. So yeah, it's going to be, obviously very heavily leaning towards that era for me. Right, so starting off, we'll go with Yellow. So Yellow, difficult one, because in that era you had technically 4 Yellow Rangers, if you're counting the pilot. Was it Audrey Dubois, and then she got replaced with Twee. And then you had Aisha, and then in Zeo and Turbo, and kind of towards the end of season 3, you obviously got Tanya coming in, and Tanya is going to be my pick for Yellow Ranger, and it's going to be in her Turbo powers, because I really felt like in Turbo she came into her own finally. I think there was still lots of great things and character development for her in Zeo and stuff, but I remember watching the film, and actually out of every kind of Ranger as a kid, she kind of made an impression. She was like probably the most standout character. I know that's a bit controversial because obviously there was so much going off in that film, but yeah, I think Tanya in Turbo powers, and I think her Zord would fit in well, having the at least one car, and I feel like that was probably the best one to pick out of them all. Really, you didn't really want to choose the other ones. I mean, yeah, Desert Storm, pretty good Zord. So yeah, that's Yellow Ranger. Then we're gonna go with Black. So obviously there was only ever 2 Black Rangers, because it seems like actually in Sentai Black Rangers are a bit of a rarity. It's usually more green, I think, that they go for. But yeah, Black Ranger is going to be Adam. And obviously, I think in Space they had a Black Ranger, didn't they? But yeah, Adam. I did enjoy, like, Zach. He was funny and stuff, but I couldn't relate to him really as a kid, other than, you know, being funny and stuff. But I did kind of enjoy Zach as a character. But Adam was the one I kind of relate to, a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved, but, you know, was still awesome in his own way. And I think, you know, as well, he came back as, you know, with the Damaged Martha as Adam in Space, was it? So yeah, I think he's a good fit as well. You want that kind of calm, studious kind of presence, and I think Adam brings that to the team. And obviously you've got the Mastodon or Lion Thunder Zord, depending on which one you feel like is going to work better as your Power Ranger team, if you like. Who should we go with next? Shall we go with Blue? So obviously there's Justin, who, as like I already said, didn't really relate to, so, and was probably a little bit jealous of, and just didn't connect with, and didn't like this idea of, you know, a kid being a ranger. So I can't pick Justin. I can't pick Billy either, which is a little bit strange because obviously he was the original, but I feel like Billy, you know, he moved on from that ranger role, and, you know, I don't know, he's obviously a legend, but I'm gonna have to go with Rocky from Zeo. Just because I like Rocky. You know, he was a great Red Ranger, because the Red Ranger was no longer a leader, kind of thing, and I think that fitted his character. But yeah, Zeo, Rocky, you know, obviously it was his last season as a Ranger because he didn't do Turbo, and I think he'd work well in the team. Again, you want that light-hearted humour, you want that element of comic relief, and I think Rocky provides that, but in a very, very good way. And you know, his Zeo Zord as well is, or Zords rather, because obviously you've got 2 sets, I think would combine well with the team. Yeah, so it's hard on Billy, but I think, you know, like I say, for the dynamic of the team, I think you need Rocky there, and you could have Billy as like in his role after a Ranger, where he was more like an advisor. So yeah, who we left with now? We're just left with, yeah, I missed on the Yellow Ranger talking about Twee and Aisha. They were both really great characters, but like I said, I think Tanya's personality would work well in this group. And Zord, with now going on to Red Ranger, we'll save Pink for last. Red Ranger, obviously I can't have Rocky because he's Zeo Blue, and Turbo was good. Tommy was good in Turbo, but, you know, that was like last legs type of thing, and, you know, I don't think his Zord would work well in this mix. So that was interesting, but obviously he was only Turbo Red for like half a season. Jason, the original Red Ranger, you know, like I say, I kind of caught the back end of like his tenure as a Ranger, same with Zach and Trini, but Rocky was the one that I had more episodes to watch on with. So I'm gonna go with Zeo and with Tommy. Tommy as Zeo Red, just because Tommy was always one of my favourites, obviously, from green to white. And then when he became the Red Ranger, it was kind of, oh, this is fun, you know, he's an official leader, he's a Red Ranger now. And I felt like he came into his own. He was obviously a good leader as like the White Ranger, but I think in Zeo, his leadership skills kind of really came to the fore, and I think ultimately he would make a good leader of this group. And obviously, you know, he's got the Battle Zord as well as, you know, the other 2 Zeo Zords. So I think you can call upon that as a great thing. Obviously, this is going to be, there's no going to be combination of a Megazord because you can't combine them all unless you did do something weird. Billy could do that. This is obviously all just fantasy booking type thing. But yeah, Tommy as the leader, as Zeo Red. And then Pink Ranger, because Pink Ranger was always kind of like my other favourite. Obviously, everyone's kind of first crush as a Power Ranger fan was Kimberly, and she was, you know, a big part of my life as a kid. So yeah, I'm going to go with Kimberly, obviously. Kat was great, but I didn't really catch her much as MMPR Pink. And then I kind of saw her in Zeo, and I enjoyed Kat in Turbo, so it was close to having Pink Turbo, because Wind Chaser would have probably worked quite well. But yeah, we'll go with Kimberly, and obviously she's got either a Pterodactyl or a Firebird Zord, and I think, again, having that flying element works well in this group. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good team overall. I'd be quite happy with that as the Power Ranger super team. And that's just me kind of fantasy booking and putting some thoughts out there. Let me know if you've got any kind of super teams and super groups ideas in the comments. Yeah, quite a fun little thing to do. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, please take care and peace, love.